What's up, guys? It's Tyler. Welcome back to another episode of Hooksets Are Free. Hope you're having a good day, night, whenever you're watching this. If you're on the replay, I am streaming this live, so nobody in here yet. Just waiting. I'm gonna give it a minute or two for people to hop in here, start hanging out. Tonight, I'm drinking a Founders All Day IPA. Cheers. So, basically, to open that I pretty much waited all week to be able to open on video with you guys. So I figured I would just do it live instead of recording it. How are you guys doing tonight? Two people in here, one thumbs up. How you doing so far? What are you guys doing this fine evening? Here, Riley. Always getting those notifications. Right on. How are you doing, Riley? I'll say right now, before we've got other people in here, that I picked out 3 black and blue chatterbaits to give to you. If you're cool with that, unless you want a variety of colors, I was gonna give you one original chatterbait and one of the Strike King Rage Blades. Not sure if you're familiar with that bait, but that was one of my go-to bladed jigs back when the jackhammer wasn't out yet. You know about this one? This is surprisingly good when fishing wood, because that head isn't gonna roll over like tends to happen with a lot of chatter style baits. So Riley, I was thinking one of those, one of the standard chatterbaits in like a 3/8 ounce, and then one of the jackhammers in 3/8 ounce, all in black and blue, unless there's something else that that you're interested in. But I was thinking I'd send you those 3 for you to check out. See, 9 packs. Jeez. I don't know that I really need 9 packs. How many did you say you got? I'd probably be good with like 5 or 6 packs. That'll last me all year. Because let's see. In my terminal tackle box, I've already got in 3/8, I've probably only got a half a dozen weights, but you know, I definitely don't need that many packs. So maybe like 6 would be plenty. 23 packs. Just send me like 6. But wait till I send you the package first, and then you can just return it. The return address will be on there, and you can just send it that way. Does that sound cool? All right, so I think it might just be me and you hanging out here tonight, which is totally cool. Wanted to unbox this package that came in through Tackle Warehouse, and so I'll probably change the name of the video that this is, because it was the Bass Pro Shops Bassmaster Classic, not Bass Pro Shops, Tackle Warehouse Bassmaster Classic sale that I mentioned on the last stream that I did. So what motivated my purchase was finding this bait right here. And I did get 2 packs of it, so I explained to you last time the deal with that fire craw. So it was kind of wild the way I got my hands on them. and immediately thought I'll get one for myself and then give the other away. But then I saw what's happened with the coronavirus and how the baits are becoming difficult to get a hold of, especially some of the colors. So since everything's coming from China, who knows what's going to happen. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do this as a giveaway anymore, but this right here I could probably sell on eBay for close to 50 bucks. Just one chatterbait and one pack of trailers that matches it well. So this is the Delta Craw color high-tech crazy flapper in the 3.6 inch and the jackhammer chatterbait in the Fire Craw in the 3/8 ounce. And that's an awesome pairing. You can rig the crazy flapper sideways. Golly, these stink. So the crazy flapper is a great bait because you can break it once here and then again in the middle, and that gives it 4 different flappers. So tons of action. As you would expect with Kitech, you got awesome colors, very soft bait. So not going to be the most durable, but you'll get really good action out of that. You could rig it like this and just have really aggressive flapping, or you could rig it sideways and have a really cool swimming action. But red, this time of year in the early to mid pre-spawn, is the deal. When water temperatures are say in that 50 to 55 up to 60 degrees, there's just something about red that triggers the fish a little bit more and also simulates crawfish. So I've explained before, but I do like to take that high-talk Craw colored jackhammer and rig it with a Craw trailer and just yo-yo it up off bottom, rip it up off the bottom. That was really effective for me last year at this time of year. So anyway, I got 2 packs of the Kitech Crazy Flapper in the Delta Red, Delta color. Got 1 pack of the 6-ounce Ned Fry in the Electric Shiner color. So we got a green top and then like a pearl shiny bottom. High 80s this week for you, huh, Riley? That's crazy. We just got a wicked snowstorm today. Probably got 6 or so inches of snow over the course of today. It's supposed to snow all night, so pretty upset about that because fishing was just going to get going for me. I only got to go once this past week and didn't catch anything. I was there for an hour. So last week I caught 3 fish in 2 outings. This week I caught 0 fish in 1 outing. And that's too bad. So anyway, the Ned Fry, I've mentioned before, is a cool big size Ned rig bait. Small size shaky head bait. Really good Nico rig bait. So this is more of a bait fish imitation with that Electric Shiner color. I didn't realize that I already had 3 packs of the Ned Fry and didn't really need to get another one. So I've got 4 at this point. Got a good variety though. 1 in green pumpkin, 1 in Shiner, 1 in kind of like a smoked purple. They call it cinnamon, and 1 in ox blood, which is more of like a peanut butter and jelly. Got a pack of the 6-ounce Divine swim baits. This is in the 4.4 inch in the Ghost Minnow color. I've never tried these swim baits before, and I've been meaning to and knew I would at some point. As you can see behind me, that was kind of a hobby of mine last year and the year before, was trying out as many different soft plastic swim baits as possible. So holding this, right away you can tell that it's really firm plastic material. but it's got a good action on it. Seems like a medium speed type of bait. Reminds me a lot of the Jackal Rhythm Wave. So this is the 4.8 inch Rhythm Wave in the Sexy Shad color. So see how the body is relatively wide and then it tapers to the tail late in the bait. Reminds me a lot of that. A lot of the action is down low toward the tail. Doesn't come up much into the head. Now you might get a little bit of action out of the head. Otherwise, but yeah, this reminds me of that bait right there. So, got one pack in this pearl, or ghost ice minnow they call it. And I intend to use it as a trailer on the swim jig that I have from 6 Cents. The Divine swim jig. In the lavender shad color. So this ghost ice minnow is pretty much clear, but it's got some flake in there that is like purple. And I think it would go good on the back of the swim jig of mine. So I could pull it out right now and show you, but I don't think I'm going to. I'm going to put this back in the package. I'll just say that the deals were pretty cool. 6 Cents, I think, had 20% off of almost all of their baits on Tackle Warehouse during the Bassmaster Classic sale, which obviously was over a week ago. And so it ended last Monday, the 13th, I believe. Did get a pack of the 6 Cents Stroker Craws too. This is a new bait to me. I haven't tried this soft plastic from 6 Cents, but it is their Craw bait, and just like the other soft plastics that I've felt and tried of theirs, it's really tough material. Not too thick, but the claws on here are very thick plastic relative to average sized. Like the Ultra Vibe Speed Craw, these things could get pulled off easily, but I think the Stroker Craw ones are going to be pretty durable, and they're already a smaller size at 3.3 inches. So I just got one in the green pumpkin, and again, these come like 7 to a pack, and we're pretty affordable. I want to say like $3.99 a pack. So tried a couple new 6 Cents soft plastics just to see what was up, and as I feared might be the case, I will probably end up getting more in the future, but it's not a bad problem to have, discovering new baits that you really like and can have confidence in. So again, that's the 6 Cents Stroker Craw, 3.3 inch in green pumpkin. I think I showed you a pack of these, or maybe not yet, but this is the new Missile Baits Quiver 6.5 inch. This bait comes in 2 sizes and was released at the Bassmaster Classic, and it is essentially just like an upsized version of the Ned Bomb and also the Bomb Shot by Missile Baits. All of the bomb baits have this spade tail. This is a much longer tail, but supposed to be good on a shinky head, on a Nico rig, and also as a chatterbait trailer. I saw that smaller size being used as a chatterbait trailer, and looked really good. So this color here is called GP3, and you know, it's somewhere between a green pumpkin and a, oh, what would you call it? A grass, grass candy type of color, but it's not see-through, and there's not really much flake. It's just more purple and green color in there. So far I like it. Pretty much like a green pumpkin, purple swirl type of deal. These only come 6 to a pack, and I want to say we're something like $4 for the pack. So a little bit more expensive worm here, but this is a new release for 2020, and seems like worth a look for a couple of different applications. So wanted to take a peek, and felt like for $4 it was worth having a look, because they might not be in stores for a long time, and some of the colors were selling out quick, so thought I'd check those out. Then otherwise, I got some weird high-end JDM lures that just happened to see that were on sale big time. Lucky Craft had 20% off of a lot of their baits, and this one here is the Moonsault Cb 100. So, not sure if you've ever heard of this bait, but the Moonsault is a crankbait that has been around like 15 plus years. Looks pretty standard on the outside. Comes in a bunch of different sizes. It's got a relatively small body for what it is, but this version dives just like 3 feet deep. This is a very shallow diving roundbill crankbait, but they also make it in models that go, I think, 9 and 12 feet deep. So as you can see, there's tiny little, maybe size 6 or size 8 treble hooks on here. This is a red type of color, see-through red. They call it nice. That is a completely Japanese name. I don't know what that color is called, but listen to this thing. So its whole deal is that it's got a crankbait action, but a lipless crankbait sound. It has all of these different rattle chambers that are filled with different sized beads, and there's glass up top and then rattles down below. It sounds like a lipless. So pretty cool deal. Again, this thing runs right in between a wake bait and like a square bill. It's going to be a shallow diving crankbait. Also got one in the IU color. This one is a little bit more translucent, but will also be effective on cloudy days. So as you can see there, you'll be able to see through it sometimes, but it also has kind of this matte type of finish on it. Green top, yellow side. So liked that. These guys retail for like 12 or 13 bucks, which is relatively expensive for a bait like this, but I think they were on sale for something like $6. So got 2 of them to check them out, just because it's got a different sound, you know. Then got 2 jerk baits. This is the dual hardcore Minnow Flat 110 SP. So dual hardcore is a brand owned and operated by Yozuri. So they're a Japanese company. There's pretty much nothing on the packaging here that I can understand. So all I can tell you is that this jerkbait is flat-sided like the name suggests. Not sure how well you can tell that. This is a clear color called something like Minnow. I don't know. Wish I had the yow. I don't have the invoice. So that's totally see-through. A little bit of holographic flash on there. Blue top. These baits run, I want to say, somewhere in the 4 to 6 foot range. And they are suspending jerk baits. They retail somewhere like 12 bucks. And again, I got them like 50% off. Got them for something like $6. So that's about as cheap as a jerkbait gets. and I figured these might be worth a look. And if they're not the greatest, then oh well. So, as I typically do with jerkbaits, I got one in a clear color and one in a flashy color. Sometimes I'll also get one in a bright color, but I know, that's what I'm saying, Riley. Like, for $6, I'll pretty much try any jerkbait out there. And when these are Japanese baits that are clearly made well and have really solid hardware straight out of the pack, and their suspenders, I'll give it a shot. So usually flat sides tell me it's got a little bit more erratic of an action. 4 to 6 feet is very typical diving depth. Flat sides are a couple other ones that I've got are like the Jackal Re-Range, and oh, I don't have jerkbaits on my mind right now. I'll tell you, I went out and threw a jerkbait and did not have any success on my first outing, so got a little bit discouraged there. The Ima Flit is a little bit flat-sided, but that Jackal Re-Range in particular is kind of what I think of when I think of a flat-sided jerkbait. The Rapala Ripstop is another one, totally. So, always good to kind of be aware of those subtle things. This one's going to dive deeper than the Re-Range and deeper than the Ripstop as well. So, you're right. Awesome colors, good value. I want to say they were $6 a pop. Lastly, I got a frog. You know I don't like to talk about topwater at this time of year, but this is the Evergreen Ss 77, which stands for soft shell. So this is got the same cup face as the Evergreen Shower Blows topwater walking bait. So look at that shape. But it's a typical frog material, soft plastic. You can see that the hooks point up. The tail is wrapped because, whoa, look at that. Furry. So, Ryan, son of a fisherman, this is almost like your squirrel lure you were talking about, except it's a frog body. I wish I could get that tail back into this bag easy. But anyway, this is a bushy tail on the back of a frog that's got a really nice set of hooks on there and a cupped face that should allow this bait to walk very easily. I think this frog retails at like $15. But I think I got it for about $8. They had a couple on sale for like $11 too. But again, it was like 50% off. So got one of these frogs, two of these jerkbaits, two of these shallow diving crankbaits, and those 6 cents plastics and the missile baits quiver worms. And you know, spent like 50 or $55 max. So pretty cool deal. You know, those were lures that were not on my radar, but I do like to cruise sales when they're going on and see what kind of deals are out there. So a little bit of an impulse purchase that I got from Tackle Warehouse during the Bassmaster Classic sale. There's some baits that have gone out of production or discontinued recently. Like Mega Bass isn't going to make the Vision 110 Magnum anymore. And they just released new colors for the regular Vision 110. They call them Matte Magic. So anyway, that was mostly what I wanted to talk about. I feel like there was one or two other things, but I'm mostly just trying to organize, Riley, it looks like it's mostly just me and you. Yeah, I'll tell you, I literally hopped on and was most interested in getting these because they paired up with that Fire Craw jackhammer so well. But they were on sale themselves for like $3.50 a pop. So got two of those and then spotted some of those other sale items. And really, I think everything but the missile baits worms were on sale. So I got one pack of the missile baits, 3 packs of 6 cents soft plastics, 2 Lucky Craft crankbaits, 2 dual hardcore jerk baits, and the Evergreen frog. Again, all for like 50, 55 bucks. So I love shopping well, being smart, saving money, and trying new things. So that is kind of what I did there. As I said, Riley, I'm going to send you 3 chatterbaits for 6 packs of tungsten weights. Does that sound fair? This is like 30 bucks worth of chatterbaits. You know, 1 jackhammer, unused, 1 regular chatterbait would normally cost like 5 bucks, and then a rage blade, which would normally cost like 6 bucks. So, I think the jackhammer is what you're going to love more than anything, right? And that's kind of the whole point. When you first said you hadn't tried a chatterbait, my thought was, well, let me just send you any old chatterbait, a couple of vibrating jigs that that you could try out and just start catching fish on. But then you showed a lot of interest in the jackhammer and lipless cranks. What? You're still gonna send me those custom lipless? Oh, no way! Did you cut your PB on? That's awesome. Okay. Well, that makes me wonder if we should exchange more things. All right, Riley, tell me what I should do, because I asked people in my post on Instagram yesterday, what would you do if you were me? What up, Guggen Slayer? You got out on Tuesday? Did you catch any fish, man? So Riley and Guggen Slayer, what would you do if you were me and you were initially planning on doing this as the giveaway this month? Which has, you know, I spent like 16 bucks on this stuff, but ordinarily it would cost 22 bucks. And right now I could sell it for probably 50 bucks. Should I still do it in the giveaway, or should I worry that if I were to lose one of these, I shouldn't get rid of it? I should keep it to myself, or what? You know, I got kind of an even split set of answers on Instagram. People saying, "Oh, you should sell it. Oh, you should keep it. You should throw it." And Riley, thank you. I appreciate you saying that, and I will gladly throw that lipless crankbait. Even though I will say I'm a little bit lost right now when it comes to lipless crankbaits. I've got so many that I want to try this year. Look at how full my box is. I've got about 60 lipless crankbaits in this box, and luckily about half of them, 25 or so, are striking red-eye shad. So otherwise, though, I've got like 2 of a bunch of different lipless crankbaits, and there's a lot that I'm really wanting to get to know this year. So I just don't know if there's enough time. How does it work for you guys in terms of how often you throw what baits? Guggen Slayer, you'd keep it, huh? You know, maybe I should keep it and then It's just a matter of what do I give away otherwise. There's a ton of different things. Maybe I should give away some soft plastics or something. Some of my soft plastics are getting out of hand. I've got like 25 bags of soft plastics there and a bunch of stuff all over the place here. I should give away some flukes or something. Riley, I should sell it. Because if I do lose that, can't do nothing about it. Throw 15 bucks down the drain. Yeah, but that's the way you have to think about it when you're throwing the jackhammer, you know? You got to let go of the fact that it's an expensive bait. And that's the only way you can get comfortable throwing expensive baits, is being comfortable losing it, expecting that eventually you will lose it. But, you know, you can change your mind. Not a big deal, though. Just saying. You've got to get used to the feeling of having and throwing an expensive bait and not worrying about it too much. That's why I love things like this in particular. You know, you get $12, $13 baits for $5 and $6 that you'd normally spend for an ordinary bait. But this way you're getting JDM style baits. This is the same price that you'd pay for like a standard frog, you know, like a Spro or a Booyah. Get to have the Evergreen frog here. So love getting to try new things at the sake of just saving a little bit of money. I'm pumped about that. Now, I was going to talk about just a whole bunch of baits that I was going to make this live stream topic about baits that I have recently picked up but haven't tried yet. But I was also thinking about making it just top spring baits overall, whether it's ones that I've tried or ones that I know are proven that I haven't tried myself. And kind of changed my mind. Just decided to make it more about that unboxing and asking you guys what you think of the Fire Craw jackhammer and stuff like that. So I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of different baits intentionally and just rant for an extraordinary amount of time. So you tell me, do you have anything that you guys want to talk about? Any specific baits that you're curious about? Things that you see behind me, or questions you have, or things you just want to talk about fishing related? You know, At Defoe winning the MLF event was pretty cool. Coronavirus is crazy. But I'm happy to talk about anything for a little bit while hanging out here. Looks like it's just kind of me and the two of you guys right now. You tried the Z-Man plastics? Awesome. What peanut butter and jelly worm did you get again? The Finesse TRD? You were just throwing a Ned rig? Riley, that reminds me. Riley, were you just throwing a Ned rig? How'd you have it rigged? So there's your chatterbaits. I'm going to throw some Ned rig hooks in here. What kind of head were you using? Tell me what brand and weight you were using. And you said PB&J, or were you using like Junebug? Just a regular Ned rig. So the Z-Man heads, or what? I gotta know. Is it a mushroom style jig head that's flat like this? Guggen Slayer, you landed 3 but lost 3? had trouble penetrating the flipping hook. That was frustrating. Well, what kind of gear are you using, Guggen Slayer? What are you throwing that flipping hook on? So, Riley, are you throwing a standard Ned rig head like this? Or does it have a weed guard on it like this? Whoa. It was a mushroom. Your friend lent you some hooks and you went fishing? Cool. That's awesome, Riley. All right, well, I think I'm going to give you like 4 hooks. So all slightly different. One is the standard Ned rig, finesse rooms, jig head. I think these are all like in a 1/10 ounce, which is my favorite size. It's not too heavy, but it's not too light either. There's actually no such thing as too light, but I do prefer for this to be close or on the bottom. You got a weedless finesse rooms, standard wire bait keeper there. This might be a 1/16 instead of a 1/10, but it's got a chartreuse head. And then lastly, this guy with a different keeper. In fact, do you have any green pumpkin baits? Or are you pretty much throwing that PB&J and black and blue? I want to send you maybe a green pumpkin head. Guggen Slayer says, trying to get used to a 7.5 heavy fast tip. Might be a little long for you. Gonna throw your Texas rig on your other shorter heavy next time. Yeah, I wonder what the deal was then with you not being able to set the hook. Maybe the rod was just a little bit too long. But sorry to hear that, man. It's a little bit frustrating. Going out there getting bites and not being able to convert them, right? Always sucks. So, sorry to hear that. But I don't think that's a bad strategy, trying to go to your shorter rod if it's got a similar action on it. Is your Texas rod rig just a little bit Texas rig rod just a little bit lighter in power, or is it about the same as your flipping stick? 7.6 is a little bit long. You know, I use a 7.3 heavy for most of my flipping and frogging, but Riley says, yeah, I have a green pumpkin finesse worm. All right, I'll try to make sure that a green pumpkin head gets put in here. Man. Give you a heavy one. All right. What other questions or stuff do you guys want to talk about tonight? I'm not going to hang out too long. I've been reorganizing a lot. Mostly got all my stuff in big boxes now, which I feel mixed about because I doubt I'm going to bring stuff on my pond hopping excursions in big boxes. I'll probably take things into smaller containers to more easily take with me on the go. But that means I'm always going to have to pick and choose what I'm packing with me, and I hate that. Guggen Slayer, I'm in a kayak. It's a new rod you're getting used to. Yeah, 7.6. I mean, I assume you stand up in your kayak or no? Because if you're using a 7.6 while sitting in a kayak, that's probably too long. But I also don't kayak fish, so I can't quite speak to that. And that's your call, obviously, but that sounds pretty long. You standing or sitting? Hmm. All right, so I think last time I streamed, I talked about the Bassmaster Classic slash Bass Pro Shop Spring Classic sale, right? Where I showed you these 4 crankbaits that I got. Talked about a couple of deals. I think overall, the Bassmaster Classic sale and overall week didn't yield very much exciting stuff. Last year, it felt like a lot of new things were released, but this year it just feels pretty standard. Riley says, "I wish you could jump a person like Instagram in." Oh, so go live with you? Yeah, for sure. I'm not sure if I know what you're saying, but I figure you're saying that you wish you could go live like on Instagram, and you can. You can call me on Instagram. I told you that I talked to Ryan, son of a fisherman, last week about those baits that he said he was interested in designing. I called him on Instagram. It's just like FaceTime, and we talked for a few minutes. Coogan, yeah, it's in stand, but boat positioning, very difficult standing. Yeah, I believe it. Interesting. So, do you find yourself throwing fewer baits in specific presentations that you really get used to and prefer to throw? Or how does it work fishing from a kayak? How has that changed your style of fishing? What are your preferred presentations? Okay. Well, Riley, what do you mean? What color weights do you have? I just assumed they were standard. Do you have black and green pumpkin, or what color weights do you have? And the lipless, you said you had two of that special color, right? The one that you caught your PB on. If you can give me the one that you did not catch your PB on, the other one of the same color, I'm into that one. But otherwise, send me pictures, or or just request. Just call me on Instagram, and you can show me for a minute at some point, maybe after this call or um, tomorrow even. So anyway, Guggen Slayer, tell me about what it's like to fish from a kayak and how that's changed your fishing. I'd be curious to know about that. You have a trolling motor and a decent anchor rig, so you can do pretty much everything, all conditions. Don't fish in current, because that's scary. Mostly shallow and mid-depth lakes. That's awesome, man. Sounds like a really cool setup. And glad to hear that you're doing it safely in the right way. But that sounds really cool that you can go anywhere, kind of do anything. Do you typically fish by yourself, or do you go out on the water with other people that do kayak fishing as well? Riley says black, green pumpkin, and 3 different colors and softener size weights. Softener size weights? What do you mean by that? I thought we talked about 3/8 ounce weight, and how about half green pumpkin, half black? Like 3. Are they all 3/8 or no? Guggen Slayer, I hear you. Said you go by yourself mostly, but you've rubbed the bug onto a few friends, and they got yaks too. Nice. Yeah, I always think it's interesting to think about how people's fishing styles evolve over time. I always wonder if I'll get a boat in the future. I think I probably will. I just don't know how far in the future it is. All right. Ooh, baby. All right. Look at that. Gorgeous little rigging there. This is the 7-inch Megabass Spark Shad on a VMC weedless weighted swim bait hook. It's just like the Owner Flashy Swimmer. That weight up forward. I think this is maybe a 9/0, half ounce or 3/4. With the hook on here, this guy weighs 2¼ ounces, 2.28. That's pretty significant. Just for reference, the Kitech Swing Impact Fat is 1.65. Is that right? Yeah. Just 1.65 rigged on a 3/8 ounce 6/0 Owner Beast. And like I said, this is, I think, 2.28. The Spark Shad weighs a bit more, but they both measure in at 7 inches and have a unique action, long tapered tail, and both really excel when swum slowly, unlike the Mag Draft, for example, which I've been throwing more recently. But you can see that tail doesn't wag as easily, and it doesn't really bend over at all when you flip it upside down, whereas the Spark Shad bends a lot, right? And the Kitech also bends a lot. So these baits are for slow swimming. This bait is a little bit more speed sensitive, one that you got to fish a little bit faster. More like a spinner bait, middle of the water column. And just in colder water conditions, you can creep one of these baits in cold water, or work them a little bit faster in warm water. Kitechs are proven. The Megabass Spark Shad is kind of the recent sleeper of the two. This guy, I think, retails for $15 for a pack of 3, and this retails for $10 for a pack of 3. So 7-inch soft plastic baits. just in case you're interested or you're curious. I also really like stepping down. The 5.8 is a sleeper of a size, and really good middle ground. You know, rigged with a weighted hook, it's right at 1 ounce, 1.05, 5.8-inch Kitech swing impact fat on a Trocar swim blade 5/0, and I think this is a 1/8 ounce. That one doesn't feel too big. And it then starts to make your 4.8-inch baits and your 4.4s, your 3/8s feel really small. So I've come to really like throwing slightly bigger soft plastic swim baits, at least when starting out. Guggen Slayer, you also caught one on a swim jig with a Kitech first cast on Tuesday. That's awesome. Yeah, that's always been a confidence bait of mine. No matter the swim jig or the weight, is throwing a Kitech on the back of a swim jig. Now, here's a little bit of a game changer. Not sure if you knew about these. And I don't know if they're actually going to stick. Or not. But look at this. Here's the standard swing impact fat. Here's the swing impact fat saltwater. This is a different model, different density plastic. So let me show you the standard. This is the swing impact fat. Got a lot of action on the tail, right? Now, let me put that back and show you what the saltwater series plastic looks like. Barely bends over, right? So look at that. Tighter action. Little bit firmer soft plastic. Same body. Really nice action though. I've used this bait a fair amount. I've got it in 2 different baits. This standard swing impact fat and also the 4-inch swing impact. So both of the Kitech swim baits, they come in saltwater colors, which are a little bit more vibrant. They're made for saltwater, but they perform really well in freshwater. So it's essentially just like a durable Kitech, right? Everybody knows that Kitech are the undisputed best soft plastic swim baits on the market, but a lot of it has to do with the fact, just like Gary Yamamoto, you know, it has to do with the fact the plastic is soft and has such good action, particularly at slow speed. So even though it's got a lot of salt in it and has that very tough to replicate action, even the, you know, rage tail, rage swimmers are good. They don't stand up to the swing impact fat. So the saltwater colors don't bother me so much. I don't like them very much. I just like the white and the chartreuse and white. All the other ones I can't really relate to. And unfortunately, they've only made the saltwater series in this 3.8-inch size for the fat and the 4-inch size for the standard swing impact. So haven't had a chance yet to try it in larger sizes, but I think I would like to, just because I think you could double the amount of fish that you catch per lure on the saltwater series ones. And I think the action is still really, really good. A little bit different, but you could throw this more year round. And 4.2 or smaller, then try these, man. These are 3.8-inch. Really bright chartreuse on the top, and then a pearl white bottom. I'm telling you, pretty good color. They also make straight pearl white. So check them out sometime. They sell for the same price, and Kitech just put them out last year. It seems like they're feeling it out and not totally sure whether they're going to expand those saltwater series colors and plastic into other baits, or if it's just kind of a fad that they're trying and it's maybe not working out. I can't tell. I would catch pickerel at your lake. Dude, I'm telling you, you throw it on a swim jig that's got a, just like a chartreuse and white color, right? Or even on the back of a chatterbait, you flip that upside down and you put it on a bait like this. Put it on a bait like this. Put it on a bait like this. So, yeah, chartreuse and white is a color that I like, just like that sexy shad. And you saw last week when I got the thunder crickets, one of the colors that I'm most excited about is this, what do they call it? Chartreuse blue glimmer, or blue glimmer pearl, something like that. And it's a chartreuse top and a white bottom. Riley says, what's a good Tokyo rig color bait? Color is color, I wouldn't think about rig specifically, but the same colors that you would throw on a Texas rig or on a football jig. So green pumpkin, black and blue. Colors, I can't really steer you right or wrong, but it depends on what you're going to be doing with that Tokyo rig. The cool thing about a Tokyo rig is you can work it a few different ways. And so it is truly a hybrid rigging between a flippin' style presentation, so a little bit different than like a peg Texas rig. You get that separation, so you could flip it to different pieces of cover and use it just like a flippin' bait, or you could throw a swim bait or a worm on here and you could treat it more like a drop shot, and you can even swim it and drag it along bottom. And so this is essentially a leaderless drop shot. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with the Tokyo rig, and so it depends on what situation you're in, whether you should throw green pumpkin or watermelon red or black and blue or June bug. You said your water is dirty a lot of the time, so this would be a good color to throw, just like a Bama Craw. Green pumpkin top, orange belly would be a safe color to throw. June bug would be a safer color than like a peanut butter and jelly, but both are good colors. And then, if you're flipping and you're throwing these types of baits, I would go darker, just because it's mostly a get their attention, have them come check it out and eat it, that you're really trying to get their attention. If it's more like a drop shot presentation or a swim bait that you're throwing, you might want to go more natural. So that's where things change a little bit, and if you're just going to throw a drop shot bait, a couple ones that I really like are like the Robo Worm Fat 4.5 inch. It's one of my favorite drop shot worms. I also really like the Kitech Easy Shaker. That's a 4.5 inch worm. And it has some amazing action and is surprisingly buoyant and lifelike. Pretty affordable. I think they come in 10 packs and are like $4 or $5. So really like those. And then underground sleeper drop shot bait, doesn't get enough attention, is by Zoom, and this is the swamp crawler, just the OG swamp crawler. So drop shot worms or swim baits are good things to throw, but with those I would go with more natural colors, a little bit more for clear water. But if you're flipping into heavy cover and you've got dirty water, obviously you're going to go dark colors, your black and blues, your June bugs first. But green pumpkin is kind of always safe if you're throwing a craw. You know, that's why you saw me get the green pumpkin color of the quiver, that GP3, and the green pumpkin stroker craw from 6 cents. It's just it's a safe color, you know. You know, the 6 cents clout stick bait. I got one in melon dust, which is like a green pumpkin blue, and one in the dark water bug, which is like black and blue and June bug type of color. So I like to stay pretty simple, pretty straightforward when it comes to colors. Guggen Slayer says, I was using green pumpkin and dyed chartreuse in minor stained water. The Bama is your cloudy day, Bama. Or the Bama is your cloudy day bug color. You do the 2.8-inch Kitech and you get good baits, good bites. Yeah, 2.8-inch Kitech is pretty small bait though. I mean, it's pretty much a Ned rig at that point, right? So there are a few hooks that you can really throw a bait that small on, but you got to have specialized gear. You got to throw it on a spinning rod. I've really come to like the 3.3-inch size. Got some of the Rage Swimmers close by here. But check this out. This 3.3-inch size is quite a bit bigger than the 2.8-inch, especially bigger around. And yet it is still big enough to throw on the back of some swim jigs, but really be a much bigger profile and just as effective finesse swim bait as the 2.8-inch. The 3.3 is an awesome size. So, you know, let me just tell you the differences between them real quick. We're talking half of an inch of plastic in length, but it's very significant, the profile difference. So the 2.8-inch weighs 3 grams by itself. So literally 1/8 of an ounce. Whereas the 3.3-inch weighs 5 grams, 4.93. So 5 grams by itself is pretty significant. So we're talking 1/8 versus like 3/16. And that makes a difference when you add a lightweight jig head and you've got the presence of a little bit more there. This is just a straight up finesse bait, good on an exposed hook jig head or on a drop shot. This you can also drop shot, but you can use as a finesse swim bait that's just a little bit bigger. It fits more jig heads. You can do more with it. You can use it as a trailer. I like the versatility of that 3.3. So over the last year or so, I've really transitioned away from the 2.8. Unless I'm trying to like swim a bait when I'm Ned rigging or something like that. But I have baits for that specifically. So last year I really stocked up on 3.3s. Started throwing it a lot. You say you're weird and you just like those on a drop shot. Yeah, 2.8 inch is like crappie size. I agree, but surprisingly, it really goes with this presentation here. The Megabass Okashira Screwhead. If you throw a 2.8 inch or 3 inch soft plastic bait on there, it's ideal. And that 3.3 is like just barely too big to fit well on that head. So the 2.8 inch Kitech or Rage Swimmer or the 3 inch Spark Shad by Megabass is really the bait to throw on that screw head. But it's just like super, super finesse, right? So you're absolutely right about that. Riley, drink of choice is the same that it's been the last couple times. This is the Founders Brewing All Day IPA, Session IPA. And it's gone. So, anyway, I'm sorry for not being a little bit more interesting tonight. Just thought I would hop on to unbox that package from Tackle Warehouse from the Bassmaster Classic sale. Pretty excited about a couple of these. I can't tell you when exactly I will throw these baits because I've got so many jerk baits in my box now that that will probably get thrown before. Like, again, I've got probably 50 jerk baits in this box, and I just ordered 5 new Megabass jerk baits. So these fit into like the same category as the I'm a Flit, which is you know, a Japanese bait, high quality lure, really good value, and is a little bit unique. You can see the rattles are in here. I have a super high pitch because they're tiny little BBs in there. This is a very narrow profile bait, but pretty long. Has stock owner hooks on here and nice color schemes. And they retail for $10. So that's an awesome bait. And these dual hardcore jerk baits have the magnetic system inside that the weight transfer system doesn't happen until you fling the bait and it goes funk, a lot like the Jackal re-range bait does. So you can't hear anything in there. But once you cast the bait, the magnets, you know, loosen up and the weight goes to the back of the bait. So both of these are flat-sided jerk baits. The re-range dives like 3 to 5 feet at most. And this flat-side minnow goes like 4 to 6 feet. So throw it in similar situations, just where the depth changes a little. But, you know, the Spro Mix sticks, I've got a few of and didn't throw them very much last year. The new, well, they're not new, but the 6 Sense Provoke 106 is a jerkbait that I hadn't gotten until this past year. Just got a couple of and want to get to know. This is another JDM jerkbait that, just like these deals, this guy retails at like $23 and I got it for 12 or 15. This is the ISM Raver 115. This is actually a floating jerkbait, but it will dive 3 to 5 feet. Just won't suspend. So I could use some suspend strips and get it to suspend. This is a very high-end, very popular jerkbait in Japan right now. Guggen Slayer says, I have a couple jerkbaits that are so thrashed and you still throw them. You don't lose them a lot. Yeah, I'm not saying that I lose baits. I'm just curious in getting to know different baits. So I have too many is my problem. I'm just curious to try out a bunch of baits. So none of them get thrown very often. It's it's rare, and I feel like I'm neglecting certain baits when I leave one tied on for too long. So at most, I get a few or upwards of a dozen catches on one bait before I take it off and throw it back in my box and tie on a different one, just so that I'm spreading the love. Very few of my baits have a lot of thrash on them, especially because I've acquired them in the last couple of seasons at most. So my collection is growing much faster than everything's getting thrown. I'm not trying to find that perfect bait is the problem, I don't see myself finding one that just catches them so much better than the others and me not throwing anything else and just throwing that one bait. So would you say throw that Provoke 106? Your PB is on a Provoke 106. That's awesome. So yeah, I've got it in two colors that I'm pretty excited about. The Rayburn Ghost seems to be a pretty versatile clear watercolor. And then the Jaint Juice, which seems to be pretty good stained water or clear, cloudy conditions, similar to like the Table Rock Shad or Table Rock SP from Megabass. And again, I got those Black Friday for 20% off. They were like $8 or something like that. So again, I pretty much don't pay full retail for anything, but I'm always on the hunt. That's my problem, is that I'm not trying to just like stock up on that one bait that I know I love and call it good and see how long I can make it last before I have to replace it. Like, I'm just trying to add to the collection and try new things and see what bait might have an advantage in what situation, what the action is truly like for that bait, and just be versatile and be prepared and be knowledgeable. But it takes time to do that, right? So I'm acquiring a lot of gear as of late, but not necessarily throwing it just yet. But, it's interesting. Like, collecting baits and trying new things, it's a little bit of a hobby. It's different than some people who just have their go-to or are tournament fishermen and have a different agenda. But for me, it's about trying new baits and catching a fish or multiple fish on one bait or a couple baits that day, and I like to switch it up. So with everything that I have, it wouldn't make sense for me to throw the one swim bait every single time I go out and never get anything else wet, and just catch the hell out of them on a 5-inch Megabass Spark Shad, which is a super sleeper bait. Really good swim bait, good for skipping, and just really soft and well made. It's pretty wide. It's flat on top. It's got this long tapered tail, kind of like the 7-inch does. Very good action in all water temperatures. Very realistic look with the eyes on the front there. Soft bait, comes in a pack of, I think, 5. Yeah, pack of 5 for $10. So a little bit more expensive than a Kitech, but really cool bait. Not a lot of people are throwing that 5-inch size. A lot of people throw the 3-inch, but the 5-inch is where it's at. The 4-inch is good, but I usually like 4-inch baits as trailers and things like that. It's more of a finesse swim bait. This 5-inch is just big enough to where it's got some drawing power, but not so big that it's too heavy to where you can't throw it on standard gear, or to where it's too big that it'll just intimidate fish and get followers but not eaters. So 5-inch Spark Shad is one of my favorites. Honestly, I've got a lot of different baits in here in that size range, in the 4 to 6-inch swim baits that that I think are really well made, but that Spark Shad is probably up there with the best of them for sure. So anyway, guys, I think I'm going to hop off. I appreciate you guys being on here, but again, this was a little bit of a last minute hop on. Yeah, Riley, it's a lot of jerkbaits. We could talk about jerkbaits specifically for a whole show almost, and not even get through them. You know, the Rapalas I've got a ton of. Actually, these are Lucky Craft, but Rapala, you know, the X wraps and the Husky jerks and the Shadow wraps and the ripstops are all really great jerkbaits. So Coogan Slayer says, throw your provoke. I will do that. I need to remember. I appreciate you helping bring that to the top of the list. Riley, I'm going to package these up and send them to you in the next few days or next week for sure. Send me some more information about your weights and those colors of the lipless crankbait, and we'll go from there. Feel free to call me on Instagram. You know, either I pick up or I don't. It's not a big deal, but if I'm available, I will pick up. You can just hit video call, video chat, and hit me up that way. So anyway, Riley, Guggen Slayer, thanks for hanging out tonight. Hope you have a great rest of your night. I'll see you guys in the next one. And yeah, appreciate it. Talk to you later.